Good evening, my railroads. This is Robert Sacco here, and we're going to start another small project I should have finished today. Something simple, nothing too crazy. What you're staring at is an Atlas GP40 Georgia Railroad. I just recently acquired. I actually came in yesterday, and the reason for that is we're going to make it look like this. CSX number 6390. So I picked up the engine, like I said, came in yesterday, got off of eBay, and what's nice about it already has a speaker in it, which I was pretty surprised. So the only thing I do is put a coder in it, and that's it. She's ready to go, which we will do later on this week, hopefully. Put that aside. Here's the shell right now. Before I start working on it, what I'm going to be doing is first stripping down the inside. At least I'm going to take the windows out. The number boards are going to come out. I'm mainly the railings on. So I'm basically going to do is weather it. The only thing I'll be adding to the move toward the picture is the snow plow. So this piece will come off, and I'll add a snow plow on here instead. Same thing for the this is that going to come off? Oh, cool. That was easy enough. Look at that. Let's see. Oh, I think it's coming apart. All right, sorry. So yeah, this is going to be my same day project. Shouldn't be too bad. What I'm using for number boards is Seaboard system number boards, which are pretty close to the past jobs for CSX. And I'm going to do 6390. So without any further ado, I'll go ahead and get started. I'll tear down the shell and show where I'm at before I start the actual work. So hang on for 1 second, I'll be right back. Okay, we added the sunshades on that came with the model. All the interior glass are gone. All the number boards are gone. Probably be easier if I use the pointers of my fat fingers. I took off, there we go, the step on both ends because I saw a picture from the back where I never had one on there. So I'll go ahead. I'll do some covering up with a piece of thin piece of plastic along here, paint it black and weather it. You won't recognize it really. Up here too, also pull up the number boards. It's quite easy to pull off. Now, for the snow plow, I actually had two of them laying around. I had two of these laying around, so I'm going to paint the back end. Let it dry. I'll paint the front end, let it dry, and I'll go ahead, glue it on here with the hoses coming through the plow, so it'll all be sticking out. So that's where I'm at right now with the model. So I'll pause it right there again, and I'll get right back into it and come back to it. All right, we're back. Here's where we're at right now. Shell's back in the locomotive. The plow's on, glued. I touch my paint spots where I chipped it. The back end, all the holes are covered and painted. What I actually did was took the piece that came off of it and I broke the tabs off and glued the tabs into the holes, and I just glued and painted over it. So that saved me a step there. I got my shelf coupler in the rear. On the front end, I had to use one of the extended couplers because the short one wouldn't fit with the snowplow on it. So now we're gonna head to the paint booth. We're not gonna do very much weathering on this thing. We're just gonna make it look like this. There's only gonna be two colors we're gonna be using for this application. Is basically grimy engine black. And we're going to use roof brown, excuse me. So these are the only two colors I should be using. And I'll go over the trucks with dry brushing with white. Very little with white once I get that done. Then once that's done, we'll put the windows back in. well, I'll put the windows back in once I do the number boards. Let me put it that way. Once the weathering is done, I'll move on to the masking off and get the new numbers on there and number boards. So I will be back and I'll show you what it looks like after I finish weathering. Okay, and we're back, and here she is weathered. Now, like I said, the first thing I did was I went over the whole locomotive with Grammy Black. I went over the leathering just a little bit more than anywhere else in the because I'm trying to get the fade look to the picture. Then I went over towards the bottom locomotive with roof brown, all the way around the bottom of the locomotive. And got the exhaust soot on the top. And she is looking really good. I think we got pretty close to the picture as far as weathering is concerned. So now the next step would be patching a number and doing the number boards. So let me get that set up and we'll be right back. Put that down. All right, we're back, and here is the number boards on the locomotive. Now, I was going to use the seaboard the decals, but I'll pull one out real quick. I went to go start it on it. Sorry. Find a damn set. There we go. I had to make 6390, so I had to cut the numbers apart, but they were way too close, and I don't want to screw these numbers up because they are pretty much usable still for other projects that have coming up. So I had a number decal sheet left over still. It had enough numbers to 6390, so I just wanted that. It's not the exact right font for it, but I have seen the locomotives with this font on it, so I went with it. So I even got the GP40-2 on there according to the picture. I may have overlooked that detail. I found and did that. So that's why I'm up with this locomotive right now. The only left right now are the number boards. I went ahead, seeing that the numbers all completely. I got the number boards painted white. I'm gonna wait till they're dry. And I have on this sheet 63 and 90. So I don't have to piece 4 different numbers together. At least it'll be just a patch of 2 of each. So I'm happy with that. So what I'm going to do is take the shell apart now. I'm going to put the number boards back in, put the windows everything back in, and I'll go ahead and put the number boards on, and we'll go from there. We will be back. And here she is, model railroaders. She is all finished. I did change up the coupler for a shorter one because I had one that fitted just fine. Coupler still moves back and forth with no problem. I'll weather it up a little bit. I'll get over some rust paint on the couplers. What I also did on the inside, I don't know if you can tell, on the inside of the cab, usually the boxes, if I noticed correctly, are usually like a green color. So what I did was actually I painted all that. I had Penn Central green paint here. I went ahead and painted all the interior pieces green, glue the guys back in place. So that came out pretty good. Here's the back end. Here's the other side. The only thing I'll do later is I'll go back and I'll white this up like in a picture of the prototype. But that's pretty much about it, guys. Locomotive that took me maybe from start to finish, in between breaks and grabbing my kids from school. I think I only have about 3 hours total in this project, so I'm pretty happy. Last thing I do right now is go get a coder and go get a speaker and put it in, and hopefully I'll have her running by the train show next weekend. So this is the this is it for this project series for CSX X Georgia GP40. My next one I'll get started on will be the CSX and the chassis half. And I still got my BQ I got to finish up. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it helped out some of you guys. I figured I'd do something a little bit different besides just post video runnings or somewhat layout updates. I'll hopefully have the layout update sometime next year. Well, that's another story. But guys, you all have a good night. You have a train-tastic night. And I'll catch you guys later. See ya.